Well, you were saying earlier, though, that things have changed a little bit in terms of even how you cut the tie vent.
Right. 10, 15 years ago, the proper way to install a window was to go ahead and just cut a big X.
Right.
And then you would fold the edges around and you'd install a window. Well, on the outside of the windows, you have a nailing flange. And that nailing flange, for some reason, we started thinking that was actually a flashing to keep water out.
But it didn't.
It didn't.
Okay.
And so now the proper way is to go ahead and cut down the center and then fold the sides in.
Which we've done.
Right?
Yeah.
Cut it along the bottom and then cut it along the top. And then we've made these slips at the top to allow for flexible flashing after we install the window.
Okay.
Okay, so the first step, what we have to do is we have to put in a pan flashing.
Okay.
So go ahead and take that, hold it up about 6 inches on the side. We'll peel off the backing. Now the advantage of this flexible tape is on the corners.
Okay.
You don't have to cut it. Is just go ahead and start feeding your fingers right into the corner.
Like this?
Yep, just go right down like that.
Okay.
Advance. Now it's a little cold out today. Okay. Once it heats up, it really sticks.
Okay.
So all you have to do then is put a plastic cap nail right there in the corner.
All right.
And it holds it flush. Now the next step is to put the window in. Now the reason we put this here is so the window, when the window sits here, let's say the water does get in behind, like I said earlier, is it'll land on top of this and then go out the bottom. So we don't seal this bottom on the outside. After we get the window put in, we'll put expansive foam, minimal expanding foam around the window, but we just kind of spray a bead right along here to stop the air and leave this part open. So if there ever is any water, it can free drain. Okay, boys, there we go. Now first of all, we want to make sure and get this level and plumb, and you'll notice that the framework of the window sticks past the framework of the wall.
Exactly. Right.
Okay, because there'll be sheetrock, there'll be drywall on this, and so then this will be flush with the outside face, and so you can just install your trim. Be sure and order your windows this way. It saves you a lot of time by having to put these extension jambs in later. And then on the window, they do have the proper installation instructions, but they also have the NFRC rating on there. It's National Fenestration Rating Council. But what it does is it rates all of the windows. It tells exactly what kind of a window this is. This is a casement vent. That means it's operable. And it's low E, has a low E coating, a low emissivity coating on it. Argon filled, which is what we're really looking for because there's 2 panes of glass.
Okay.
And you can just have air or you can have an inert gas like argon, which is a better insulator. So all the newer windows have the argon on the inside. There's some other gases that they're trying to use, but argon's probably the most used right now.
And that meets Touchstone Energy
Right.
standard.
This whole window unit meets the Touchstone Energy Home Program.
Okay, anything else we need to know in terms of making sure that we have an energy efficient install?
Well, you want to be able to get a double pane argon filled with a low E coating. The low E protects your carpet from ultraviolet. It reflects the heat back into the room. The neat thing about this particular window is it's not a triple glaze, and everybody thinks we need to have 3 panes to be efficient. And the double pane window, when we've done infrared shots, it's amazing at how efficient these windows are.
Okay, so when you use an infrared gun, you can tell whether or not it's been efficient or not, and
you can.
And this does the job.
Right. This is a Touchstone Energy Home type window.
Excellent, excellent. Well, we're back outside now, and we're going to finish the install on this window.
Right.
Bill, what do we need to do?
We're going to go ahead and finish putting the flex wrap on the outside. This flexible flashing, and the key to this is to get it tied up against the window itself. And I know it's cold out here and you want to get inside, but you want to get this finished up. And we're going to leave one off of here. Remember we talked about how the water has to have a place to go?
Right, push out.
We used to go ahead and throw another one across here, then you'd trap the water. So you're treating this just like a shingle. So the next step is we'd put the other side on.
Right.
And then we'd go ahead and put the top one on, overlapping the two sides. Right. Yeah. We would put that one on, just like this. And then the paper would come right over the top, red tape it, and you're done.
Okay, excellent.
So that completely seals the water from the outside. So you've basically got all these belts and suspenders methods, but we've got to learn to put these windows in correctly. If we keep doing it the way we used to, we're just asking for failure.
This looks familiar to me, Bill.
Right. This is your generic fiberglass insulation, probably the most commonly used insulation in Iowa. Some of the other options are cellulose, which is recycled newspaper.
Right.
It's very sustainable. You could put that in. Either there's a dry pack where you'll put a plastic on the wall and push it into a certain amount of pressure, or they can put it in a kind of a damp, a sticky method, like a big old spitball that fills the cavity full.
Okay.
There's some foams that you can use. They're all real good installations, but it goes right back to this whole system. Everything has to be done correctly. For this fiberglass to work, it has to be completely fluffed up. It just can't be thrown in.
So a fellow might just push this in and say, done.
It's just it's a waste of time.
Okay.
You can lose 50% of your effectiveness by compressing it. And you'll notice that there's
So how do you put it in?
Well, you just shove it all the way back in, make sure it's all the way to the top, all the
Right.
way to the bottom, push it all the way in, and then pull the inside surface, bring it out flush with the stud. Maybe even
Okay.
bring it out just a little bit past.
Okay.
Now, you'll notice this doesn't have the paper, the craft face, somewhat called vapor barrier that's on there. Because what we do is, instead of using that paper as a vapor barrier, we go ahead and use, certain feed came out with a new product called membrane.
Right.
It looks just like a plastic or a poly, but it's not. This particular product, what it does is, once it's installed, it's sealed at the bottom, sealed at the top. We try to get absolutely all the air leakage out. And what happens if, let's say there's some moisture in this wall, let's say some moisture came in from outside somehow. If it's in there, the pores in this open up after about 12 hours. And so the moisture then will dry from the wet to the dry side, so it will dry to the inside of the house. So it's very, very, very forgiving.
Wow.
And so it stops the air, and it stops bulk moisture, but yet it can still let vapor back and forth, so you actually have a breathing wall, but yet you don't lose the energy.
Is this new to construction?
Yeah, it's fairly new. This was the European building code, and some of the new codes are saying you have to use a smart vapor retarder or a smart vapor barrier. And that's exactly what this is.
Okay.
It's forgiving. They say it thinks. But I don't know how it would. The other thing that we have to worry about, though, is whenever we have a receptacle on an exterior wall. So let's say that we have this insulation out. Before we even put the insulation in, what we'll do is we'll go ahead and put this box just on the exterior walls, wherever there's a switch or where there's a receptacle.
Why do we need this box, though?
Okay, what we want to do is still keep the wall airtight. So if you just go ahead and nail a box in like this,
Sure.
you've got all these holes on the back where the air is going to breathe. You can put your hand on here and you can tell if it's 20 below zero or if it's zero outside.
I've seen this put in before, but not this orange box.
Sure, you just put this in first, nail this in, make a slight cut in the top to bring your wire in, then you fill this with insulation, and so you've got a completely airtight wall.
Okay.
And this, it's amazing, how much energy you add all these up, how much energy you're going to lose on those outside walls.